Alright guys, it's finally time. I've been putting it off for weeks now, but it's finally time to dyno the BMW 535i Turbo. There's been a 2-video gap between the last time this car was on the channel, so yeah, here it is. It hasn't moved, so we're gonna try and fire it up. I think the battery's dead. It's been sitting for like 3 weeks now. Cross my fingers. I hope it just starts, but that might be too much to ask, but we'll see. Here she is in all her glory. Will it start? First try. Let's find out. 3 weeks of sitting. Oh, yes. Oh no. Oh my god, you guys, I can't win with this thing. Yeah, so just got some brake clean here, so hopefully it just fires up. I'll just spray it on the intake and... I don't know, it doesn't seem great. I'm not really a fan of that, but just douse the filter and brake clean. And it's right next to the distributor, so I don't know. Nothing feels good about this car, I'll tell you that. Every time I work on this car, I don't feel good about it. So there's nothing new. Alright, I don't know if you can hear how poorly it's running right now, but it's definitely not running on all 6 cylinders like it was last time, so I'm gonna have to try and figure this one out. Listen to that. Sounds like someone playing the drums back there. And I have to keep my foot on the gas to keep it going. It's got to be a fuel quality issue. I don't know what else it would be. I rev it and it's fine though. Sounds good. I'm gonna run out quickly and see what's going on here. Yeah, it sounds like trash. Walk out here and it dies. Alright, it's staying running long enough that I think I can just get it into the dyno cell right now. Come on, come on. There's still something wrong with this. I think it's a fuel quality problem still. It's not outside for 3 weeks, right? So I can only imagine that the fuel is still contaminated, or it got contaminated again because there's a hole in the tank. So, and there's just 87 in here right now. So hopefully it'll be okay. I don't think we're gonna be able to finish today. I'm just gonna go as long as I possibly can until we have to leave. So remember I was saying the dyno cell is also a paint booth. So this is it here. I actually helped build this paint booth a long time ago. It was made from scratch, which was kind of cool. Sometimes the guys use this for some small paint jobs. It's nothing crazy, it's a pretty simple booth. It's not downdraft or anything. But yeah, when it's not being used as a paint booth, it's being used as a dyno cell, which is kind of cool. I just went and got some 91 octane in a jerry can. It's sitting in the truck right now, so I'm just gonna go over and grab it and let's get started. Alright, so we're pretty much set up here now. We've got the fans going, you can probably hear it. Wideband connection's ready to go. The last thing to hook up is the boost sensor. Alright, so I just went from the fuel pressure regulator vacuum line. This side just runs to the dyno, so I can get boost pressure up on the screen here. So that's a cool little feature. And now that we're all set up, let's get in the car and fire it up. Okay. This thing is running like shit. Alright, so the first thing that I always do when I go onto the dyno pack is check to make sure that we've got a good RPM sync between the car and the dyno. So I'll just rev it up to 3,000 RPM. You'll be able to see right there in fourth gear. And I'll check to make sure it's reading the same on the dyno pack. Right there. Alright, let's do it. Nice, so we got 3,000 RPM on the dot on the computer, and we're locked at 3,000 RPM on the dyno I can see over there, so that's good. So I'm just gonna run the car in a little bit like this to burn off some of the old gas. and get the car warmed up. We're almost at operating temp there. See, 76 degrees Celsius. So we'll just get it a bit hotter. Let's give it another 10 degrees and then we'll start to load it up and see what happens. The air fuel ratio looks good at this amount of load. We're pretty much bang on 1 lambda right now. 0.98, it's hovering around over there. It's hard to see. Throw this dirty glass. There you go, right, that one right there. It's 0.98, that's pretty good for sitting outside for this long with gas. Okay, so the engine took a medium amount of load pretty well. So what I'm gonna do at this point is just increase the load at the same RPM. So what that'll do is just check to make sure that the wastegate is working correctly. It should actuate and open fully at 10 PSI. And then at the same time, we'll listen for knock to make sure there's nothing dangerous going on before we increase the RPM. Okay, so inherently this is just a very noisy engine. You probably heard it there in the video. So as I increase the boost, there starts to be a weird rattling noise going on. I'm not sure if that's actual knock or if it's just the turbo having a terrible time. But what I'm gonna do now, just to make sure we're all safe, we'll get some knock ears to see what's actually happening. All right, so this is the Link knock block here. This is basically just a knock sensor and an amplifier. And it allows you to plug any kind of headphones and listen to the knock sensor that you place on the engine, which is right there. And it's cool because you can have 2 knock channels on here. We're just gonna use one today. So this is one of the cheaper knock ear units on the market. There's a lot of more expensive options, 2, 3, 4 times the price. They give you more of a tuning range. All you get on the Link knock block is a volume adjustment knob, but on the more expensive units, you have a noise filter and you can change the frequency, which is really cool. So you can really dial in what you're listening to. Because sometimes I've noticed with this one, you can't really tell what you're listening to all the time. It would be nice to move through some of the frequencies. All right, so I got the knock sensor installed on the engine now. Let's see if we can see it down there. There it is. So I'll just go ahead and plug the harness in for the knock block now and run it over to the control module. There we go. So the idea with the knock sensors is you want them mounted directly to the block and away from any valve train noise, usually as far away from the head as possible, and anything else that might rattle, like the wastegate, for example. All right, so we're all plugged in here now. We got the Link knock block hanging out, and I've got the headphone jack plugged into my old gaming headset from years ago. This is probably the bare minimum of what you want to use knock ears. The higher quality headphones you have, the better. But yeah, this is just probably the bare minimum you'd want. All right, so let's go ahead and fire the car back up and load it up the exact same way. And we'll see if we're getting actual knock or if that was just wastegate rattle or turbo wheel rattle.
We'll see you.
I think something's wrong with the intercooling system. The IATs are getting really hot. I can't keep them down even with the fan, so I'm gonna go have a look at the system and see what's going on. It's an air to water system, so we'll just make sure there's fluid in the system. Before we put it outside for the winter, we put coolant in it, flush it all out, so it should be fine. But let's go have a look. Uh-oh. I know you guys can't see in there right now, but this thing is bone dry. It should be right at the top. That's not good. All right, so I'm gonna put some coolant in it. We've got some sitting right here just in case. Okay, it doesn't seem to be taking it for some reason. It still hasn't shown at all in here yet, so let's go have a look under the car quickly, make sure everything's okay. Oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. What are we? We're leaking from the heat exchanger over there. Where is that leak coming from? Is it right there? I can't tell. Wherever it's coming from, I can't tell, but oh no, it is right there. You guys see where the light's reflecting off of there? That is where the leak is coming from. That's all wet. Oh my God, man. It doesn't stop with this car, I swear to God. We are not short on problems here with this car. So we just had it overheat. You can see it was dribbling out a bit. It poured all over the intake manifolds and all over the back. Yeah, so that's not great. It shot coolant all down there and stuff. What was weird is the radiator isn't hot, so we're thinking the thermostat is stuck or something. And then we had the problem with the intercoolers. Ernie is working on a replacement. I don't think these are savable. Basically, we dropped the fuel again one more time just because it's running like a bag of rocks at idle. I don't want any suspicion about the fuel quality in the tank right now, even though it was brand new fuel from today and the brand new fuel from 3 weeks ago. But yeah, so I drained the fuel again. So we'll have a look. We'll see when this settles and see what it looks like. It already looks very yellow at first glance, so we'll see what happens sediment-wise. But yeah, it's not going well today. I'm very frustrated. Car's knocking, but we're working on it. One step at a time. Baby steps with this car. Rome was not built in a day. Neither was this car. So stay tuned because there's still a lot of stuff to do. All right, guys, so this pretty much ends the day one for this car and the dyno. On top of all the other problems that I mentioned, it seems like the main running issue now, which isn't allowing the car to idle, is actually two stuck injectors. Basically what I did to diagnose that is just go through unplugging everything to see if there's a change in idle quality. Unplugging injector 4 and 5 have no change to idle quality, while all the other injectors make a huge change in the running. Injector 4 and 5 are stuck. I'm going with that. So they are clicking when we do the injector test in the Link ECU. It doesn't seem like they're firing any fuel at all. So probably gonna have to pull those injectors out, probably swap them around, and then we'll be back. Unfortunately, this day's been very difficult for me. And Ernie's still working on the replacement heat exchanger for the air-to-water intercooling system. Once we get that buttoned up and the injector's fixed, then we'll be back at it. There's a bit of knock going on, and I think it was a octane issue. So we put some fuel additive in there, and it cleared the knock up right away. I think we're gonna have to stick with a higher octane fuel. It seems like we're gonna have to run 94 now from here on out. So yeah, today was just a learning day, unfortunately. Didn't make as much progress as I expected. Here we are. But I'm gonna go home now and be sad somewhere else. See ya.